Gangsters, which many of them are, but rather than that, props them up because they have vote banks, because they perhaps have wealth. I mean, these are not the reasons why you don't act against someone who evades summons 43 times or has 9 cases against him and you don't act against him.
I would like to put in a word here.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, it's very easy to browbeat the police. I will not put the blame there. It is for the political leadership to give that leadership. It is for the government to have that experience and to go ahead and give the orders to do what is right and what is not, how the entire strategy has to be done, which the government today lacks because it is completely inexperienced. You have a chief minister who's a first-timer. You have so many ministers who are first-timers. They do not have a clue about governance. I mean, where is governance today? You know, and when they say it is only this, there is a state of anarchy prevailing in the state of Haryana today. On the streets, the vehicles are burning. People are out with the, lathis. And the entire law and order situation has broken down. And then to say that it was the police which was at
this is
fault,
an exaggeration again. You know, my worry with politicians,
I will not put the blame at the foot of the police.
Law and order has broken down in Haryana.
To take that leadership and take it forward.
Okay, you know, GVL Narasimha Rao, these are not great images for your new BJP government. I don't think law and order has broken down in Haryana as Ms. Kiran Chaudhary claims, but these are not great images for any government to deal with. Would you concede to that extent that Mr. Khattar has been found out, in this instance at least, to be a rather inexperienced chief minister? You have a chief minister who has never really had experience of any form of administration.
I think there are many of our top leaders who have proved themselves to be extremely successful at administration, had no prior experience before they became chief ministers. So therefore I would not concede. But I would say this is a very, very challenging and a very, very difficult situation. A situation of this kind perhaps this country has seen for the first time. A person who has such a large following is actually using people, women and children and his own followers as human shields, and is sort of building up his ammunition to attack the police and the administration. I don't think there is any parallel in Indian politics. Therefore, to blame the chief minister for not going in there and attacking and not getting him before the law.
I'm not saying a chief minister has... I'm not saying a chief minister has to go in and storm the ashram, but there were better ways, surely. Were there other ways in which this could have been handled? Give me one other way, Vikram Singh. There's a point.
So many
if
ways.
I have people there, devotees as a human shield, and I know that in the ashram possibly there is weaponry, the last thing I want is innocent people to die in the crossfire. What were the realistic options that the police had? Now you've got the ambulance taking away Rampal. Do you believe this could have been done 3, 4, 8 days ago?
Any day, the first day, a professional police swift operation could have ensured this.
You think the police gave time to Rampal?
In fact, I don't know why they deterred or they dilly-dallied the operations. In fact, there is no way condoning this delay. In fact, they should have been a swift commando operation. They should have, in fact,
but a commando operation runs the risk of a loss of life. Do you believe that there was a risk of a loss of life in an operation?
This operation presupposes that it is surgical. It, in fact, kept and sanitized the ladies, children, and all the elderly people, and would have swooped down only on the troublemakers, their militia, and the Baba. In fact, we have done this earlier. This is possible today to use non-lethal, in fact, options and exercise the non-lethal options.
So it was possible. Non-lethal options were possible. Ankit Tyagi is joining us. You're tracking it. Ankit, short while ago we were talking about the Baba likely to surrender. We're now told Rampal has indeed surrendered. You've been showing those pictures of him being arrested and taken in an ambulance. Was it entirely a peaceful operation that took place? Was there any resistance at all from the godman?
Not at all, Rajdeep. Godman was pushed to the wall, and he also knew that he has absolutely no options. If they would have used a bullet towards the police, Godman knew that the police would have ended it badly for him. As we were speaking right on the top of 9 when you spoke to me, this is a clear indication that we were getting that some sort of a negotiation was on and an agreement had been reached. An ambulance just about 10 minutes back was placed in front of the only door of the ashram, and then Rampal he came out himself, sat in the ambulance. As soon as the ambulance started coming in, then the police cordoned off the entire area, and there were policemen who escorted the ambulance out. They are already on their way towards Chandigarh. Remember, 21st was the date that the High Court had given them to get Rampal and produce him in front of them. The police, after crackdown yesterday, throughout the day it seems, and throughout the night, there were negotiations on. My sources also telling me that initially in the evening, Rampal again tried to haggle, again tried to bargain with the police. He said that he will only surrender in the condition if there are all the cases against him are dropped, and the sedition charge against him is also dropped.
Ankit, hold on. You are saying that Rampal till the very end was trying to negotiate. That is precisely the issue at the moment. That is troubling. That all through his life, Rampal, it seems, Kiran Chaudhary has believed that he can get away through a process of negotiations. That it was only today that Mr. Khattar finally put on sedition charges against him, perhaps because he too was pushed to the wall. But my fear is that the politicians of Haryana have always thought they could negotiate with Rampal rather than throwing the law book at a criminal.
It is, Rajdeep, can I intervene here?
Yes.
It is the BJP government, most of the ministers along with the speaker who went to the Dera chief in Sirsa and bowed before him. So it's exactly this kind of appeasement that is carrying, because of which we have come to this today. Complete law and order situation broken down, and this entire thing was due to intelligence failure. Everybody knew a week back that this build-up was happening, but because of the inexperience of the Khattar government, they were not able to handle this in a proper way. You will not accept at any stage,
you will not accept on this program that Mr. Hooda was soft on Mr. Rampal?
No, look, today, it is not our government in power today. It is the government in power which has to, be responsible.
That's the advantage of being in the opposition.
Now? The blame should be squarely put on the BJP government of today, which has completely failed on all fronts as far as law and order situation is concerned.
I want to bring you in GVL Narasimha Rao, because there's a feeling that the BJP too has been soft on the Deras. You wanted the vote bank of the Dera Sacha Sauda in Haryana itself. You want to, in a sense, once you start negotiating with godmen, then you're in big trouble. And that's the worry that is there, that the Haryana government, to get elected, the BJP was trying to woo various godmen in Haryana.
I think, Rajdeep, this is what the Congress leadership was suggesting until today. Have a negotiation with him. And I think to the credit of Khattar government, they have refused to really bend down. And they have actually now, they caught him, they arrested him without really giving him any kind of relief. I think this shows this government had given him enough time to come to present himself before the court, because let's understand, a man with such a large following, you don't expect him to really indulge in this sort of behavior. So he was given enough opportunity, but when he posed a challenge,
come on, you're treating,
I think he has met
a man who's got 9 cases: forgery, assault, murder, criminal intimidation. You can't treat him with kid gloves, for God's sake. But Vikram Singh, let me ask you this, and this really is the final word. I want to show you what was said by Sanjay Das, a professional wrestler in Haryana, who's a constable in the police, currently posted in Rohtak jail. He claims that the Guru had told him in 2012 he did not fear police bullets. He told me, this is not the head of a mortal but of God. They can shoot me all they want, but the bullets won't cause any damage. At that point, I saw a godlike circle behind his head. Now, if a policeman is going to talk like this about Rampal, if the politicians are also going to venerate him, then what are we talking about?
When you place such a person, such a fraud, on a high pedestal, please understand that circumstantial evidence leaves both the outfits, the earlier government and the present government, lot of explaining to do. And before they absolve themselves and wash their hands of their responsibility, they have a good account to give of themselves. Number 2, the police need to in fact brush up their professionalism, in fact tone up their riot control gear and mob control tactics, and come out effectively and have a no-nonsense approach to such godmen and criminals.
Okay, no-nonsense approach. The only way is zero tolerance towards the likes of Rampal. Appreciate Kiran Chaudhary, GVL Narasimha Rao, Mr. Rathi, Vikram Singh for joining us. My take, where do I stand now? The godman has been arrested, but I think the lessons, visuals that we are getting you at the moment, those are the dramatic pictures of Rampal, the man who has taken control of the airwaves, certainly for the last 48 hours, and has held the Haryana government to ransom with his supporters. And that standoff, it appears, is finally over, because Rampal has been taken now in an ambulance. He has been arrested by the Haryana police and he is being taken away. This is no self-styled godman, but really it appears increasingly someone who has a gangster-like approach to his politics. Someone who's had 43 cases against him, or 9 cases against him, has had 43 court appearances where he hasn't appeared and therefore has been evading arrest. Pending non-bailable warrant, accused in a murder case. With more than 20,000 of his followers, he's been trying to play a game of political brinkmanship with the administration of Haryana. That seems to be finally over, because the ambulance is now taking away Rampal. Ankit Tyagi is now joining us. He's been tracking this story. Ankit, give us a sense now what exactly is happening where you are in terms of where Rampal is and where are his followers.
Rajdeep, first let me quickly tell you, this is the breaking piece of information that we are getting. Rampal now has been taken to PGI Rohtak for a medical examination. The police is on their way. They are taking him to PGI Rohtak. Once the medical examination is done, then tomorrow in the morning, they will be taking him to Chandigarh. They have time till 21st to produce him before the court. Let me quickly describe you what the scenes are right now. All these the people, there were a lot of people, those who are coming in from where Rampal was picked up, mostly villagers, very happy. I'll try if I can show you a few pictures. Those people on the top of their cars, in fact, celebrating. They are the nearby villagers, saying that they are very happy that Rampal has been arrested. In fact, most of them were praising the Haryana police, despite the kind of operation and the long rope that was thrown at Rampal. But finally, the ordeal, of course.
You're saying finally the ordeal is over. We're going to just keep trying to come back to you. Ankit, go ahead. Okay, we'll keep coming back to him. It's interesting to see those pictures of supporters cheering. Clearly, Rampal did not have the kind of support that many believe he has. It's clear that there are also those who are opposed to Rampal in an area like this, and for them this is an occasion to celebrate. The last thing that you need is for your village to be converted into a war zone, but that is precisely what we saw happening in Hisar this evening, and that really is what is the disappointing part of this entire episode, to see the Indian state being held hostage in the manner that it was. But I want to come to you, Ankit, again. You're saying that his followers, where have the 20,000 followers, the so-called 20,000 followers he had in his ashram with him, where are they being taken?
Well, most of the followers, in fact, came out throughout the day. About 16 to 17,000, the last count that we had, all of them were segregated. Women and children were taken separately. All the men below 35 years were taken separately. Their identification was done at the police line, and all of them, those who were identified to be among the Babas, the so-called black commandos, all of them have been detained. So far, 470 people have been detained by the police. His main spokesperson, main people also detained. I just got a word from inside that about 300 of his core team men, those who were in fact guarding Rampal, they are now being picked up. The police is picking them up from inside the ashram. They are also being taken under custody.
And so, no resistance? No resistance? Ankit, no resistance? His supporters who are armed? At all. No resistance?
Not at all. In fact, since yesterday, there have been police officials, those who have been negotiating with Rampal, and the condition was that it should be a complete bloodless operation. They said that if Rampal, they in fact warned Rampal, if that there is any sort of action from his side, then it is going to end badly for him. Probably that is what has rung some bell and had put some sense into Godman and his followers, and finally this ordeal has ended.
You know, Vikram Singh, you're back with us and still with us, but in a sense, look at how it's playing out. You know, up to now, we thought that here was the ashram, it was full of arms, ammunition, there'll be a bloody battle. The police seems to have negotiated it with Rampal. Now, all this could have been done days ago. I mean, do you believe that the lesson here is that you've got to call the bluff of Godmen, not treat them in some way as supremos who can dictate terms to the state?
Correct. Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai, I had said before and I reiterate that nobody has the capacity to withstand the might of the state and the rule of law. This could have happened on day one itself. It did not happen. Why?
But maybe the police feared the fact that Rampal could use his followers as human shields, that it could become a bloody battle. To that extent, was the police right in wearing him out, in tearing him, in sort of tiring him out? Because remember, he has to appear before the court only on Friday.
Please understand that Haryana police is one of the more professional police forces in the country. There is more to it than what meets the eye. In fact, there was some kind of a signal from the powers that be to perhaps to go slow or to soft pedal. And that is why the police dilly-dallied. What they did today, they could have done earlier. In fact, the police are trained to handle such kind of a situation.
You don't think that this was a situation that the police was untrained to deal with?
No, it certainly was very much trained. But this match is fixed.
It's a fixed match.
It's a fixed match. And I would tend to understand, because when I was going out, somebody said, it appears to be a fixed match, and I tend to agree with that person. Indeed.
It's a fixed match between the Haryana police, Rampal and the government of Haryana.
Everybody. Because see the signals. Had he been arrested, he would have been handcuffed. Or even if it's not, he would have put behind a police vehicle. He was taken and escorted, in no harm in that. If he's ill, he has to be taken in the ambulance. But if he is given a VVIP treatment, which it appears he is being given, there is more to it than what meets the eye. Some kind of a negotiation.
That's an interesting point. Some kind of negotiation, Ankit, you're confirming, but is he being given some kind of VVIP treatment? You're saying he's being taken to the PGI hospital now in Rohtak. But did you get a sense that the police, in a sense, was involved in a fixed match through the government with Rampal?
Well, no doubt that they had given him a long rope, and that is why he could gather so many people and threaten the police that he will burn the entire ashram, he will kill so many people. So, of course, long rope was given to him. Also, I can confirm to you with credible sources that there were still a few BJP and independent MLAs, those who were trying to negotiate 3-4 days back. So, the government was still trying to, somehow get Rampal to give up. But the sense that we get is that he thought he will be able to use the people as a human shield, and he would be able to get away. And Rajdeep, this confidence comes to him because of, if you remember, the operation that was done in 2006 against Rampal itself. Even at that time, he had got away, and although the ashram was confiscated by the police, but later it was given back to him. So they thought they will be again able to arm twist and blackmail, and the police, the way they have.
Right. So you're saying, in a sense, that there is an element where the state was trying to negotiate with Rampal, and they seemed for a while to be seen as soft on Rampal. What is the biggest lesson you think, Vikram Singh, that one has to learn? Because across this country, there are increasingly these self-styled godmen. There are these groups with, there are individuals who have their own private militias, who do pose a challenge to the Indian state. They are the modern day dacoits, if you want. The manner in which the dacoits ran their sort of empires in the Chambal Valley many years ago. Today you have
them all over, proliferating all over.
So what is the lesson? Well, is there a lesson here both for our political leadership and the police leadership?
Lesson number one, the syndrome that show me the man and I'll show you the rules must die today itself. Number two, I may win or lose, my country should not lose. Therefore, political diktats in matters pertaining to law and the implementation of rule of law. Only law should prevail, not extraneous political considerations. And number three, when you have to act, decision, howsoever unpleasant it may be, time is everything. Timing is everything. And therefore, the earlier you do the surgery, the better.
I want to come to Mr. Yadav, Jawahar Yadav. He is the OST to the Haryana Chief Minister who is joining us. Yadav ji, स्टूडियो में ये कहा जा रहा है कि एक तरह से ये फिक्स्ड मैच थी कि अब तक आप बिल्कुल परेशान हो गए थे और एंड में आपने कुछ नेगोशिएट कर दिया है रामपाल के साथ. कोई डील हुई है क्या?
ऐसे जी, मैं एक सामान्य शब्दों में एक टिप्पणी कर सकता हूँ जी. जो लोगों का ऐसा मत है तो मुझे लगता है कि उसका कोई उत्तर देने की मुझे आवश्यकता नहीं. जो एक किसी भी चीज को, एक इस विषय को इतने नीचे स्तर तक सोच सकते हैं, इस विषय का ऐसा मूल्यांकन कर सकते हैं, तो मुझे लगता नहीं कि मुझे उसका उत्तर देना चाहिए.
तो कोई डील नहीं हुई है रामपाल के साथ?
जो ये कहते हैं डील हुई है वो प्रूव करें, उसके बाद वो हमसे बात करें.
और ये बताइए कि एक क्रिटिसिज्म आ रही है कि सरकार ने ये पूरा मामला जो है मिसहैंडल किया. ये जो भी हुआ है ये कई दिनों पहले हो सकता था. इतने इस हद तक, इस लेवल तक लेने की कोई जरूरत नहीं थी.
अगर सरकार की ये मिस हैंडलिंग होती तो 15,000 निर्दोष लोगों को बचाने में ये सरकार कामयाब नहीं होती. वहाँ 2 मोए बच्चे थे, वहाँ महिलाएं थी, उन सबको सुरक्षित बाहर निकालना ये सरकार की उपलब्धि थी, जिसको आपको दिखाना चाहिए। मेरा निवेदन है आपसे। सरकार अपने मिशन में कामयाब हुई। मई 2013 में इनके रोहतक के आश्रम में झगड़ा हुआ, जब पुलिस की गोली से 3 लोग मरे थे, जो पिछली सरकार थी। ये सरकार की उपलब्धि है कि एक लाठी चलाए बगैर 15,000 भोले भाले निर्दोष लोगों को बचाने में कामयाब नहीं हुई। कुछ लोगों को ये फिक्स मैच से लगता है, तो मुझे ताज्जुब होता है कि हम किस स्तर तक चले गए हैं। मैं बड़े फक्र के साथ, बड़ी ईमानदारी से कहता हूं कि श्री मनोहर खट्टर की सरकार की ये उपलब्धि, जिन्होंने माननीय न्यायालय के जो आदेश था उसका भी पालन किया, जिसने जो हजारों लोग वहां फंसे हुए थे, जो हमारी सरकार की प्राथमिकता थी कि उन लोगों का जीवन इस देश के लिए, इस प्रदेश के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है, वो भी बचने चाहिए, उसमें भी कामयाब हुए। तो निश्चित रूप से ये बड़ी और विशेष उपलब्धि है मनोहर खट्टर की सरकार की।
जी आपने हमसे बात की यादव जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आप कह रहे हैं कि कोई फिक्स्ड मैच नहीं थी, कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं कि डील थी, लेकिन whatever it is, the high drama in Hisar has finally ended because Rampal has been arrested. His medical tests will be conducted in Hisar. He is being, as we are also being hearing, he's moving to the PGI hospital in Rohtak, and then eventually we are told he could be moved to Chandigarh. So clearly the Rampal saga is now entering its last chapter.